How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we've got another of our discussion videos, and for the topic of this one, it is the top 10 best decks from Sparker Rebellion. Now, I do want to note that it's not just the leaders, but it's leader combinations, so like you could have the same leader on it twice, but different combinations, like say they run like with a command, or they run cunning as a base. Like some decks actually have some leaders have multiple different ways to play, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. But I'm going over the top 10, from my view, the top 10 best decks from the first set, Sparker Rebellion. So if you're interested, keep watching. And before we get into the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. And by clicking the notification bell, you get alerts when my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then, or there at time that suits you best. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and start off. And we'll start off at 10. Then we'll get on to what I think is the best. We'll start from 10th to 1st. So starting off at number 10, we've got Chirrut. So this is my absolute favorite leader in the game. But my favorite way to play it is double blue, which with the lack of good quality units in the light side or just normal side of blue, he kind of doesn't do very well. Like, not as well as I would like for double blue. But by playing in red blue, the red blue version of Chirrut is very nice because you've got some really nice units on the light side of red. Give you like what the aggression decks like Sabine and stuff already have, that you can make use of that. Plus you can access pretty good force cards in both blue and red as well. You got a force throw in red to allow you to make your opponent discard a card, and then because you got a force unit which Chirrut can stay on the board almost indefinitely, allowing you to get the benefit of the extra effect, making it so you do damage to something equal to the cost of the card. And you can even choose yourself to discard a card. So if you've got a high costing card in your hand and you want to guarantee you take something out using it, you can always do that. Choose yourself, discard the highest costing card, and then do a good amount of damage to take something out. Like, it's a very good deck, and it actually does pretty well in the format. Just not the best, but it's the best way to play Chirrut for set 1. And also it's one of the like a very good deck, and I would say my 10th pick of a 10th best deck in the for set 1. So that is number 10. Now we go on to number 9. And number 9 is Blue Palpatine. So like Blue Palpatine is one that is like a very controlling deck. Like if you get to late game, it's pretty hard to combat it because it then gets all the like great costing big stuff from green plus blue, and with the fact it gets healing from both green and blue, because there's a fair few things in green and a lot of stuff in blue that allows you to heal your base, heal units. It's very hard to kind of like push through damage when they're establishing huge things that take a bit, like quite a lot of effort and quite a lot of resources to kind of deal with and take out, while they just keep piling it on and on. So it's one of those decks that when it gets to late game, if it gets to late game, it's quite hard. It's like steamrolling and it's hard to stop. And it's a very nice one as well. Well, it's not like the best control deck. There are better control decks. It is a bit of favorite because it's got a nice effect. Like when deployed, you can take control of the damage leader unit or the damage non-leader unit, and you can easily put chip damage on things. Like put a minimal damage, you can take things thanks to his other effects as well. But I think, yeah, he is pretty good. He has done pretty well in some events, but not as well as could be other control decks and other decks that follow like the dark side of green and blue do. But he is I would say, the 9th best deck from the set 1 format. Now then, going on to number 8, and number 8 I would say is Director Krennic. I was going to say Doctor then, but he's not Doctor, he's the Director. And this is one that kind of it was doing pretty well at the beginning of the format. It was like I think it won an event, I think, at one point, and it was started doing pretty well because you have the good benefits of the green stuff and the blue stuff, like same with Palpatine. But when he's deployed, he starts giving you restore, so you can start healing, and also he comes with pretty nice stats, and comes like not too early, but early enough at 5 resources, and just gives everything a boost when it's damaged as well, which is like kind of goes well with good flavor on the leader. And he was a very good one because he's a very good control deck, offering you healing, making your things stronger if they're taking a bit of damage, and making use of all its available like units and stuff and resources very, very well. So this is my 8th pick as well. Well, I feel is the 8th best deck from set 1. Now we move on to 7th. Remember, if you do have any like queries, if you do agree or disagree with anything, do comment down in the comments below. Let me know where you think something leader should be, if it's too high, or if it's too low, or if it should even be on the list. Get a bit of discussion where people feel, but these are just from my view. So now for number 7, we got Palpatine, but Palpatine Yellow. Now this is one that didn't really creep up until the end of the set 1 format, But I would say it's like I would say it's the best way to play Palpatine because you make use of all the good green stuff like the ramp and it's like play big devastating things like Devastator, Relentless, you got Vader and stuff. But you have some really nice tools alongside in yellow to kind of make use of like Palpatine's kind of identity, like taking things, like killing things off, like not caring about what he's got, and just constantly drawing cards because well, but just by the fact you have like the leader is green villainy, you have access like lots of like all the good ramp, or most of the ramp and all the good sides of it. And then with yellow, you get some nice little benefits like sneak attack, allowing you to play things in. It doesn't like it will die. The card will die at the end of the turn, but you get the placement kit active, so you can attack straight away with it, get the use out of it. So you can bring out some like when you get later on into the game, you can bring out some huge ships, just swing quite a lot of damage at base, and use things like Motti with like Palpatine's skill to kind of like pop it off the draw card and then restand something like a huge ship so you can attack again for a load of damage and potentially put out game-winning damage in a single turn. And then things like yellow. The other thing with yellow is you get like things like Change of Heart, just basically take one of your opponent's cards so you can make use of it, and then before giving it back at the end of the turn, use Palpatine to kind of defeat it so you can draw cards so they don't get it back. And also you've got things like really nice cards like No Good Me Dead and stuff like that. So you've got a nice little control cards, like cards that really make use of it. It's just pushing out damage, taking control of your opponent's stuff, and then killing it off. It's kind of like a good way to remove it. And it's what didn't really show up to the end of the format. It is extremely strong and one of the better ways, probably I would say the best way to play Palpatine. So that is number 7. Now, for number 6, we've got Iden Versos. This is one of the more like heavy control decks, and one of the very few decks in the set 1 format that were actually is or were, depending on when you were watching this, very good for set 1. Like I think you kind of did have each aspect did have one lead that was very good with double aspect, even for set 1, and in the next set they get better. But for set 1, it's just at least just one leader was actually pretty good, like very good or pretty good with the double aspect. But not all leaders were, and it's only one for each. And Iden was probably the best way to play double blue for set 1 because you made use of the fact that not only does the aspect vigilance give you a lot of healing to kind of make you survive as long as possible, but also Iden herself can get a fair bit of healing as well. And not only that, with the fact that vigilance is like double aspect event, which all of them do have, does name after itself and give you 4 options, actually had a mill strategy, meant that it was the better way to do control because you'd have the cheapest way to mill by milling 6 for just 4 resources while healing 5 off base, and be able to recycle it using restock to make sure your opponent decks out, you don't deck out, so they start taking damage. And once you deck out, you're on a clock because after at least 5 turns, you're taking 30 damage around that to then lose the game. And I think it did win an event. I think it did win the one of the UKG events. I think maybe this Saturday. I think it was. But it is done pretty well, and I'll say it's one of the like a top deck and the 6th one in my opinion. So that is number 6. Now we go into the top 5, and for the 5th one, we got Sabine Wren. Now this is probably one where I think people would assume like it should be a lot higher, and while it is one of the top decks, it is one of the top meta decks, like the tier 1 decks, being like one of the things you expect to go against at least once when playing an event. Like it's one of the cheapest decks in the game, one of the most effective cheap decks in the game, and one of the most aggro deck in the game as well. So it's if you want to play a very quick game and try and just win fast, it means very good, it's very cheap, and it's very effective. But the thing is, I don't think it's really won anything. Like it does well, but it's not really won anything. And while it is a strong deck, I don't think it's as strong as some of the others above it. So that's why I've got it down as number 5. Still quite high on the list, but not as high as I think it should be. But then do let me know if you thought I'm wrong, and leave me a little bit of reason why. But that is 5th. So 5th best deck I feel is Sabine. And now for number 4, we've got Vader. So, why I would put Vader blue on this list, it's very specific. It is a good control deck, but then it has a horrendous matchup against things like Sabine. So I feel like a better way to play Vader, and the best way to play Vader is going green because you got the ramp to make sure you get him out because he is quite a late deploying leader at 7. But with command, you get access to a good amount of ramp, some good control cards, and some like big units as well to make good use of the like aggressive side of Vader with like the aggressive chucking out damage, taking things out, like basically just spamming damage out, and then command get you to the point deploying Vader and playing great things like his own legendary unit as well. And this is done very, very well as well. I think it might have won the UKG Sunday event, I think, if I remember correctly. And yeah, it's just one that it's constantly puts out, and it's also a great way to combat some of the decks in there. Like you have like almost a triangle format sometimes, but this is one of the I would say the 4th best deck for the set win format. Then we go on to the top 3. So for the third one, we've got Han Solo. Now this is one that is very, very good, and also it's one of those ones that, well, like most decks as well, where they have pretty like difficult deck to play against, so like one of their worst matchups. But then they've got very solid matchups across the board for the rest of them. So you've got very favorable, but then you've got some I think only 1 or 2 maybe bad matchups. But Han Solo is a very nice one. Like you can play it a few different, like some different ways. Is one of those leaders where at least 2 of the aspect combinations are very good, while the other 2 aren't really great. Well, given the first set anything. But like you can play it red or green for some good ways to play it. The green is always the better way to play because it offers you ramp along with its own built-in ramp, while also giving you some very good cards from the light side. Because the light side of can be very aggressive, and you've got even a lot of heal with green. Like you've got a lot of like space stuff, like home one and the other little one. I can't remember what it's called, the forecast one as well. And you can create like a quite a nice little loop, just trucking out a load of units very quickly, even big. Like with U reinforcement, you can just spam the board, and Han Solo is the best way to kind of get that out as fast as possible. I would say it's the 3rd best deck because it is not as great against the top 2 decks above it, and we're going to is now. So for that's 3rd place, well, the top 3rd best deck, I would say it's Han Solo, and then for the 2nd best deck in the set 1 format is Boba Fett Green. So you might be thinking, if Boba Fett Green is 2nd, what is 1st? Well, we will get to that. But Boba Fett Green is arguably one of the best deck in the format, or one of the best decks in the format. Like it is the most represented leader, most used leader, and Command is one of the most used versions of it. That you can actually play Boba Fett in every different aspect and actually do pretty well. He actually does meld well with all different aspects. But Command is the one that's most used, but that it's not necessarily the best one, but it's the most used out of it. And most used doesn't always mean best. It just means it's the one that most people use, but it's not the one that has, like, in my opinion, the best success or like the best way to play. But it's still very good as well, because Boba Fett being just a generic, a very good leader with a very good effect, being giving you more resources to do more things, it's just insanely great. Now, while that is number 2, I feel like the best deck and the number 1 top deck from set 1 is still Boba Fett, but it's the cunning version, like double cunning version. Now, this double cunning is the best of the double aspects because all 3 of the cards are playable very well, especially with Boba. All of them mesh very well with Boba, making good use of it, and also you can change up your playstyle with the double cunning, where you can play a big control, where like just cunning is very controlling, or you can play very aggressive with like the options you have from cunning, where you can just chuck damage on attacks while disrupting your opponent. You can force through some big damage and very quickly as well. So you can be as aggressive as Sabine and as very controlling as some of the control decks as well. So that is the list. So it's a pretty quick video. Go through the top 10, and I was going to do the worst 10 decks, but then like you have to go really, really dig in for those ones because there's even leaders that you don't really see play, like IG88 and Generous or Chewbacca. Those kind of leaders that do great, and rather than trying to find like the worst variations of them, it feels like it might be pointless. But I thought it might be useful to give my top 10, my view of the top 10 best decks from Spark Rebellion. And now, if you do think like something should be higher or something should be low on the list, or something should be different on the list, or not even on the list, whatever, do comment down below. It's nice to be able to get a bit of discussion and kind of see what people's views are. Because while some people might agree, some people might not agree. I might want things higher up or things that aren't even on the list as well. But do let me know in the comments down below. It's nice to get a bit of discussion going to see what people's views are. Because remember, these are just my views, not actual fact. So do basically make note of that. But that's it from me today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.